What's going on, everyone? So now that the Olympics are finally over, hopefully the focus and attention kind of get back on the Lakers and, getting closer to training camp. Guys start ramping up, right? Like Austin Reeves has been playing more golf than he has basketball. I'd like to see him start getting in the gym. We're starting to inch closer now, right? You got like the end of September. So you still got like a month and a half before training camp. Still quite a bit of time. But you'd like to see, LeBron and AD, I imagine, are going to take a little rest, probably take, a couple weeks to kind of just unwind, kind of take in the gold medal games and all that stuff. And then hopefully some type of move gets done for the Lakers, right? We're hoping that, I even joked in a previous video that, now that Lee GM is done with the Olympics, he can come and get a trade done for the Lakers to hopefully upgrade this roster. But looking at the Olympics, obviously LeBron James and Anthony Davis. LeBron James was the MVP, best player in the world. Anthony Davis, right, was spectacular. He was on the court for a majority of that game. And on top of that, he was the guy that they closed with. And he was huge in that game, right? He was huge all Olympics, right? You can make a genuine argument that Anthony Davis was the second best player, start to finish, for Team USA. Right? Again, Steph was amazing those last two games. But, there was genuine talks of is Steph washed? Right? It wasn't that long ago. Right? KD was hurt. Right? You just kind of go through Joel Embiid. Right? Everyone was like, hey, Joel Embiid needs to be benched. Don't even play him. Play Anthony Davis and bam. Right? This wasn't that long ago. Right? So, again, Anthony Davis, LeBron James were absolutely spectacular. But beyond them being spectacular, you saw how great both of them looked, but really, LeBron James, alongside a true shooter and scorer, right? Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. That Serbia game was KD, LeBron, and Steph Curry. And it was LeBron wheeling and dealing. Yes, he was, put his head down, just kind of got to the basketball touch. But it was mostly him wheeling and dealing. And then Steph Curry and Kevin Durant hitting shots and just taking over offensively down the stretch. Hitting huge shots, right? And I looked at that and I was thinking, and I was like, well, obviously, Steph, I've talked about it. We've explored the fun. It's not really happening, right? Even in those videos where I was like, hey, let's explore the fun here. I even said, I don't see it happening, right? He's off table. Trey, not my favorite. You kind of go down the list. Now, obviously, a Kyrie Irving would be great. Don't really think that's realistic, although he could opt out next year. So maybe next offseason, talk about it then. But in all seriousness, right, he's off the table. Kevin Durant, probably sticking it out with the Phoenix Suns. Right, you kind of go around the board. It's like, who are you going to get that's realistic that you could bring in to be that scorer alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis? And the answer is there, and it's available, and it's somebody that I've talked about heavily, that I am on team for, and many of you have said the same stuff, and we're all kind of rallying, and we need to, I need to put a petition together or something to get this trade done. I don't know. You have to figure something out, right? But Zach Lavine. Go get Zach Lavine. You watched LeBron James and you watched Anthony Davis and you watched how insanely dominant they were alongside another scorer. You saw the kind of looks that guys like Kevin Durant and Steph Curry never get because teams are worried about what is LeBron James going to do. And you get a guy in Zach Lavine who is athletic, can apply rim pressure, can play off ball, can play on ball, could go get you a bucket, one of the best catch and shoot three-point shooters in the league. So you have a legit offensive go get a bucket. The guy played 25 games last year and still gave you a 50 piece. Just barbecue chicken. That reminded me of what was it, the Jameis Winston, for those that remember, where he's like, you taste that? That's victory, right? That whole meme was hilarious. But in all seriousness, right? You look at LeBron, Anthony Davis, and they could really use a consistent go-to scorer, right? They can consistently use somebody that you can just kind of give the ball to, and he can just go get you a bucket, right? Reeves can do that on occasion, but he's not just this like super athlete that can just go get a bucket and score anywhere, right? He's got to be very crafty. He's got to kind of be methodical, kind of get into the teeth of the defense. Not a guy that can just blow by the defender or just cross dude up, shoot over the top, right? Like, he's very limited in how he can score. Same thing with D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, all of that, right? Guy like Zach Lavine, you can just go here. Go. I'm going to wait. I'm going to stand right here. I'm going to wait right here. Go. And he can just go off and go get you a bucket, right? Like, we need somebody like that, right? We do. If you had Zach Lavine against Denver this past run, we probably beat Denver. Or at least it's incredibly close, right? Because who are you trading to get Zach Lavine? You're probably trading D'Angelo Russell, Gabe Vincent, and Rui Hachimura, right? It's probably how the package is going to look to go land Zach Lavine. Maybe you throw in a Cam Reddish or something like that, maybe to clear a little extra salary so you can go sign some guys, whatever, right? But essentially, you're looking at D'Lo, Rui, Gabe Vincent, right? Those are the three guys that you're going to unload to go get Zach Lavine. Okay, D'Angelo Russell was good in half those games. Gabe Vincent was non-existent and didn't even really play. Rui Hachimura might as well have not played. Rui Hachimura was unplayably bad. He was terrible. You don't think Zach Lavine would have been better than all three of those guys? I mean, even Austin Reeves didn't show up till Game 4? Really? It was basically LeBron James and Anthony Davis giving you like 60, and then it was just like, Taurean Prince was really good off the bench for us, but it was just like 5 here, 7 there, 10 there. D'Lo, like I said, had those like 2.5 games, whatever, right? Like, for the most part, it was LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Go get that consistent bucket getter. Go get that guy that you can rely on game in and game out, that even on a bad night, right? He can't just find a bucket tonight. Still go get you 15. Right? Like, if D'Lo has an off night and he can't buy a bucket, he's getting you like 4. Right? Same thing with Austin Reeves. He's giving you like 4. Zach Lavine, bare minimum, he's just going to create contact and get to the foul line. He'll probably give you 10 points just in free throws. Right? If he can't get a bucket, he's going to hit a shot. Right? Like, he's too good for that. And then you saw him alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Obviously, the contract is a concern. The new CBA is going to make his contract a lot more digestible. Also, you have this guy behind me on the poster that can restructure his contract next year. And, oh yeah, by the way, he was willing to do it this year. You don't think like he would do it again if they could go get another significant piece or two? Of course he would, right? Zach Lavine also kind of lines up with LeBron and AD in this timeline. So, and you'd still have guys, you'd still have Austin Reeves, you'd still have Jared Vanderbilt, you'd still have Max Christie, you'd still have Dalton Connect. Like, you're going to be fine depth-wise, right? Like, depth wouldn't be a problem, right? Like, let's say you trade D'Lo, Rui, and Gabe Vincent, right? You'd still have Zach Lavine, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. Probably your starting 5, right? Then you still have, Dalton Connect, Max Christie, Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, right? Like, you're fine. Like, you go get Markelle Fultz just to have a guard that can initiate and handle the basketball, right? Because you just need somebody to do that since you lost Gabe Vincent and D'Lo. And you're good. Zach Lavine can initiate. Austin Reeves can initiate. LeBron James can always play point guard. JJ Redick wants to play more free-flowing offense anyway, right? You just need somebody that can bring the ball up and get you into your action. Right? You don't really need that real breakdown playmaker. I'd like to have one. I would, right? But I don't think it's like the end of the world. Go get Zach Lavine. You'd still have all of your picks, which you could then use to go get Walker Kessler, or something like that. Right? Like, go figure it out. Right? Or, if you had to, go get another big or so. I don't know. Figure it out. You'd have all of your assets. Right? You're limited as far as player salaries that you can match, but you'd have all you'd still have, Max Christie, if you absolutely had to, you wouldn't be able to trade him right now, but, December 15th, I think you'd be able to trade him, right, if you needed to. So there's $8 million. If you absolutely had to, you have Jared Vanderbilt in his contract. You have a couple vet minimum guys, right? Like, you could get to another $25 million, something like that, in salaries. That's not counting trading Austin Reeves if you needed to. Now, again, I'm not saying you trade those guys, right? But if, say, something comes along that makes sense, you do it, right? If you could go get the right piece, you do it. So, again, to me, I think you'd be fine with depth. I think you'd still have your assets. To me, it's a good compromise, too. Like, the Lakers seem reluctant to sell the farm unless it's the right piece. Okay, well, go get Zach Lavine, and then you're not selling the farm, and you still get to keep your assets, and now you elevated the ceiling to potentially go win a championship. It's a win-win in that regard. And then people look at the health, right? Okay, yes, he played 25 games last year, but he was expected to finish out that season, right? Everyone thought even Chicago thought he was. Like, when he was like, I'm just going to go have surgery, even Chicago was like, wait, what? You're going to go do what? And that was because of all the Detroit rumors, right? All the Detroit talk. They were like, all right, like, sure. He's like, I'm not going to Detroit. But even if you look at the previous 2 years, he played 77 games, he played 67 games. As long as he plays like 65 games, we're good. It's like all we really need him to play is like 65 games, right? LeBron and AD, they play around 65 games too. We're going to be a top 5 seed at worst. And then you get to the playoffs, and if everyone's healthy, good luck beating them. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Zach Lavine as like your third option. And people act like Zach Lavine is just this total bum defensively. He's not. He's actually pretty good defensively. Not like this. He's not Jared Vanderbilt defensively, but he's better than D'Lo and Reeves defensively, and he's more athletic. And if he doesn't have as much of an offensive scoring load, right, like, he probably could pick it up better defensively and be more engaged. He showed with the Bulls when he came back from injury, he was showing a real all-around game, like a genuine all-around game. I mean, he up his assist totals went from like 4 to 7 a game. His defensive rating shot up. He was locking down defensively, right? His offensive point total was around the same, and he was more efficient, right? Like, he showed like, hey, Kobe White, DeMar DeRozan, because that was the problem. It was like, how does Lavine fit, right? And he was showing that he can, hey, if you need me to be more of a playmaker, fine, I'll be more of a playmaker. You need me to do this, fine, I'll do that. Right? Sought him alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Right? If the Lakers did it and it doesn't work, you're out. Right? You're probably not going to be able to trade Zach Lavine, but at least you could be like, hey, we tried. We went and got an all-star level player who was an all-star at one point, who is an absolute bucket getter. There's nothing else on the market. Like, what else were we supposed to get? We still have our assets, so we can still go make other moves and do other things. LeBron James can go take a discount to go get another piece or two, right? Like, and at the trade deadline, if you need something specific, like let's say Jared Vanderbilt's like, we need a center more than we need Jared Vanderbilt. Fine. Then you can trade Jared Vanderbilt, go get a Walker, or a Wendell Carter Jr. or something, right? Or go get a Valanciunas or something. Or let's say Max Christie. You're like, we could use a center more than we need Max Christie, right? Fine. Turn Max Christie into Valanciunas. There you go, right? Like, you could still make other moves and still do other things. I think Zach Lavine is the answer. And I'm going to make as many Zach Lavine videos as possible. Probably won't do that many, but, I really like the idea. I do. I genuinely do. And just watching LeBron James and Anthony Davis with Team USA and just watching them, like, in the gravity that they draw and how easy it was for a Steph and a KD and all that stuff, right? Like, you can't double team them, right? Like, and then you have Zach Lavine. If Zach Lavine's cooking, what do? Because you can't double Zach Lavine. Because if you double Zach Lavine, you still got LeBron James and Anthony Davis to worry about. And then it's like, okay, let's say you double team Anthony Davis. Zach Lavine will torch you, especially if you let him go one-on-one. One of the best isolation guys in the league. That dude's easily going to go get you a 50 piece. All right? Go get Zach Lavine. I just don't think it's that complicated. You have your answer. You clear roster spots. You get another all-star level player, a bona fide third option. Now you don't have to worry about like who's the third guy. You got that. You get to keep all your assets. You raise the ceiling enough to where I believe the Lakers would be a true contender. All right, let's go. All right, make it happen. But anyway, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions, however you feel, down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.